Imagine this: Kensington Palace, typically a quiet backdrop to royal routines, suddenly becomes the setting for a moment that will change everything. It's a warm summer day, and the usual crowd is gathered, expecting the typical royal affair: Princess Charlotte beaming with a smile, Prince George flashing his charming wave, and photographs that will dominate tomorrow's headlines. But no one could have predicted what was about to unfold. Prince William, standing tall with an energy that seemed different from any event before, walked up to the podium. His eyes held something more than the usual calm reserve. There was fire, purpose. Beside him stood Princess Catherine, serene as ever, her hand resting gently on Charlotte's back. Prince George, always poised, seemed older than his years, but it was Prince William's words that took everyone by surprise, words that would shift the course of royal history. "We are stepping into a new chapter," he began, his voice steady, "one that honors the past while confidently building the future." He spoke of Queen Elizabeth II, her vision, her legacy, and the path she had set for the monarchy. His emotions were clear, tears welling in his eyes, but it was what came next that sent a shockwave through the crowd. "My daughter, Princess Charlotte, will begin her official duties as a representative of the crown." A sharp intake of breath echoed across the room. Journalists scrambled, cameras flashing, while even the palace's own officials seemed caught off guard. This wasn't just an announcement. It was a turning point. Princess Charlotte, too young to rule, stepped forward with an unshakable calm. And in that moment, it became clear the royal family was evolving. The next generation was already taking center stage. The absence of King Charles III and Queen Camilla spoke volumes. The silence that followed their non-appearance felt heavier than any speech. It was a silence that confirmed something was changing within the royal family, something big. Behind the palace walls, a quiet shift had been underway for some time. Whispers of change, of a new era, had been circulating. The monarchy, once defined by Queen Elizabeth's grace, was now making way for new voices, and these voices were gaining traction. King Charles, though newly crowned, seemed weighed down by the age that came with the crown. Meanwhile, William and Catherine were quickly rising, their popularity surging. The public wasn't just warming to them, they were rallying behind them. With every public appearance, they weren't just showing up, they were showing they were ready. Ready to lead, ready to bring a modern energy to the monarchy, leaving behind some of the more traditional ways. But behind the public facade, something quieter was unfolding. Sources have hinted that William has been having secret talks with senior Commonwealth officials, and Catherine, she's stepping into roles usually reserved for the senior royal's son, officially advising, guiding, and shaping the monarchy from within. And then there's Charlotte, reportedly already involved in media training at a much younger age than even George. Some call it speculation, but insiders are paying close attention, especially Camilla, who's watching her role in the royal family carefully, determined to hold on to her place amidst this whirlwind of change. It's clear now the monarchy is moving towards a future led by the next generation, and the world is watching, waiting, and eager to see how this new royal chapter will unfold. Will this fresh wave of energy change the monarchy forever? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: the royal family is not what it used to be. The whispers surrounding Queen Elizabeth II's final days have only added fuel to the growing fire within the royal family. Allegedly, before she passed, the Queen penned private letters to King Charles, Prince William, and even Catherine. The contents of these letters remain a mystery. But one thing is clear: after her passing, William and Catherine began to emerge, with an unmatched confidence and decisiveness. A stark contrast to the way King Charles and Camilla have carried themselves. A telling moment came when William faced backlash for skipping a key meeting hosted by King Charles. Instead of attending the royal event, William made a visit to a children's cancer unit in Manchester. The unexpected move garnered far more media attention than Charles' event in London, that day a seemingly subtle act of defiance. While it wasn't outright rebellion, it certainly added more tension. It started with an already fragile kind that tells you something deeper. Prince George is still just beneath the surface. After William, Prince William and Charlotte's increasing prominence at public events has sparked intrigue and admiration. Her poise and leadership have drawn comparisons to her late aunt, Princess Diana. Some have even speculated that a shift in the line of succession might be on the horizon, positioning Charlotte to wield more influence than anyone initially imagined. But for now, those rumors remain unconfirmed. Just whispers in the media. Amid all of this, it wasn't King Charles who made the most significant announcement, it was William. His bold moves, both in public appearances and behind the scenes, sent a clear signal to the public. The future of the monarchy was here. While Charles remained the official head of state, his diminishing presence has become increasingly evident as William and Catherine stepped forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Many began to question whether the king, whose health had reportedly declined, was still able to fulfill the duties of his position. In the weeks leading up to this moment, there were signs that King Charles was struggling. Palace insiders quietly shared concerns about his health, with reports suggesting he had been canceling public engagements, citing exhaustion. At first, royal aides downplayed these concerns, offering the explanation that the king simply needed a break after a taxing first year, but behind closed doors, there were murmurs of a deeper crisis unfolding, one that wasn't just about physical fatigue, but a growing frustration and a sense of failure in his role within the family. King Charles had waited decades to ascend to the throne, but the weight of his new role seemed to be heavier than anyone had expected. More and more, he found himself overshadowed by his son, Prince William, whose every public appearance seemed to capture more attention and admiration than Charles could manage. The torch may have been passed, but it appears the world was already looking towards the next generation, and with each move William and Catherine made, it became increasingly clear that the monarchy's future wasn't in the hands of the old guardette, was shifting, evolving, and being reshaped before our very eyes. The moment was electric, and the applause was impossible to ignore. Prince William and Catherine had captivated the crowd, their presence earning admiration that was hard to deny. It stood in sharp contrast to the king, whose demeanor often seemed distant, his interactions with Camilla stirring as much controversy as they did admiration. The tension between the two grew, especially as King Charles found himself at odds with senior advisors about how to manage William's rapidly rising profile. Behind the palace walls, rumors began circulating. It was said that Charles, feeling the pressure, had hoped to reassert his authority with a major Commonwealth tour or a high-profile international summit. But each of these plans fell apart. Practical and political challenges made them impossible. And then, whispers started to surface from within the palace that Charles was contemplating abdication, not a dramatic resignation, but a gradual transfer of his responsibilities to William. Some even suggested this process began during Queen Elizabeth's final months, when she urged Charles to prepare for a smooth handover of power to William in the years ahead. But Camilla, fiercely protective of her and Charles' position, opposed any shift in power that didn't center around them. After all, both had fought through scandals and struggles to ascend the throne, and Camilla had waited her whole life to wear the crown. To her, the growing prominence of William and Catherine was a challenge to the established order, a challenge she refused to accept. But despite her resistance, the winds of change were blowing through the monarchy, and nothing could halt their progress. Charles, caught between his own struggles and the relentless march of change, retreated from the public spotlight, leaving a gap that William stepped into with assurance and a clear sense of purpose. Once regarded as a symbol of unity, the royal family was now fractured, its divisions becoming ever more apparent. Major events, like the Queen's concert, where William, Catherine, and their children took center stage, underscored a simple truth: the balance of power had shifted. And then, in the soft afternoon light of Kensington Palace Gardens, history unfolded before the crowd. Expecting the usual royal speech, the audience was instead met with a moment that would be remembered for years to come. William, standing at the podium, wasn't there to deliver empty words or rehearse gestures. He spoke of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, honoring her legacy, her steadfast commitment to duty, and her dignified silence. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a powerful message that reverberated through the monarchy, signaling that change was here, and it wasn't just inevitable. It was necessary. It was a moment of inspiration, a turning point for the royal family. Prince William didn't just surprise us, he made us believe that a new chapter was beginning, one that was rooted in respect for tradition, but not bound by it. Our voice will ignite a new beginning, he declared, not by abandoning tradition, but by evolving it. The crown isn't a relic, it's a living promise of service, and that promise belongs to the future. In that statement, everything changed. The monarchy was no longer just a relic of the past. It was a living, breathing entity that was evolving, growing, and shifting toward a new future. The weight of this historic moment can't be overstated. Was the defining moment of the royal family's future. Wow, what a moment, right? Prince William didn't just capture the world's attention, he inspired us all with that heartfelt tribute. What do you think about his speech and the shift in power within the royal family? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. The moment Prince William turned to his daughter, Princess Charlotte, the atmosphere shifted. Despite her young age, Charlotte had always carried herself with a grace that belied her years. But this moment was something entirely different. With a gentle gesture, William guided her forward, and with those few words, he stunned the world. Princess Charlotte will take on her first official duties in the coming months. She will begin attending engagements alongside her mother, learning the true meaning of service, and ultimately helping to shape a new vision for our family and country. The audience was left in shock. Not because it was a historic moment, though. It was but because of the strategic weight behind it. Charlotte wasn't being positioned as just a passive royal figure. She was being prepared to take on responsibilities that could rival her brother George. The pictures from the event spread like wildfire, capturing Charlotte standing proudly beside her father, her modest smile capturing hearts across social media. This moment wasn't just about Charlotte. It was a calculated reflection of William's vision to elevate his daughter's role in the public eye. By bringing her forward, he didn't just acknowledge her potential, he also challenged the traditional norms of royal power. Where previous generations might have kept a young girl in the shadows, William boldly brought her to the forefront. Catherine, standing by his side, was the epitome of grace. Her hand resting gently on George's shoulder, subtly reinforcing that this family was united and stepping forward together as the crowd erupted in applause. And the media celebrated. The royal family's forward-thinking vision inside the palace.com was nowhere to be found. A storm was brewing, and at the center of it was Camilla. Upon hearing Charlotte's name, Camilla reportedly erupted with fury. "She's just a child. This is madness." She was said to have exclaimed, to Camilla, Charlotte's rising role wasn't just a family affair. It was a direct challenge to her own place in the royal family. After years of battling to reshape her public image from a figure of scorn to the queen consort, Camilla felt the winds of change sweeping her away. She had worked too long and too hard to secure her position, and now Charlotte's star was rising faster than she could have imagined. Despite her ongoing struggles with public perception, Camilla couldn't ignore the growing power of the younger generation. But this wasn't just about Charlotte. It was about William and Catherine's subtle yet unmistakable shift in the monarchy's dynamics. To Camilla, this was a challenge to the very essence of what she had worked for: power, influence, and the future of the crown. Behind closed doors, Camilla demanded action. She reportedly called for an urgent meeting with palace advisors, urging them to restore order. She even allegedly confronted Charles, pushing him to issue a statement that would reaffirm the royal hierarchy. But Charles, weary and resigned, simply murmured, "Let it unfold, it has already begun." As Camilla fumed, William and Catherine's vision was slowly but surely taking root. While Camilla tried to rally senior officials to her side, her influence was waning. More and more, staff loyal to Charles and Camilla began shifting their allegiance to William and Catherine. Foreign diplomats and ambassadors, particularly those connected to Charlotte's heritage, began reaching out to Kensington Palace, not Clarence House. The media, too, began to adjust its tone. Now framing William's family as the modern face of the monarchy, Camilla's frustration grew, leading to late-night walks through palace corridors, slamming doors, and demanding attention that no one seemed willing to give her. Catherine, on the other hand, remained composed. Where Camilla's anger was visible to all, Catherine's strength lay in her silence. In fact, Catherine had quietly, over the years, become the true architect of the monarchy's future. While Camilla struggled to win the public's favor, Catherine earned genuine affection. It wasn't an image created by spin doctors, it was born from sincerity. Every visit to a children's hospital, every moment spent with her children, and every gesture of kindness spoke to the public in ways that words never could. Catherine wasn't just the wife of the future king. She had become the strongest ally of her husband, and behind the scenes, she was shaping the future of the monarchy. As the days passed after William's historic announcement, Catherine stood firm, navigating the storm with grace. Camilla, meanwhile, pushed relentlessly, but Catherine remained silent, never rising to meet her in conflict. In this quiet war, it was clear who was emerging victorious, not through words or loud protests, but through the power of authenticity and the quiet strength of unity. As the royal family found itself at a crossroads, one thing was clear: the future wasn't about to follow the path of the past. It was being shaped in real time, and with every step, William and Catherine, along with Charlotte and George, were redefining what it meant to be a royal. Monarchy was no longer just a reflection of history. It was a living, breathing institution, moving forward with purpose and vision. And for the first time in a long time, it was clear that the public was ready to embrace this new chapter. Led by the future of the crown, her calm restraint spoke louder than words. To the outside world, Catherine appeared composed, poised, almost passive, but behind closed doors, nothing could be further from the truth. Every night, she met with William to review public reactions, dissect media coverage, and plan their next moves with precision. Her strategy was unfolding, and every detail was calculated. Charles's loyal advisors, once firmly behind him, began to gravitate toward William and Catherine's camp. What was it that had shifted their allegiance? The clarity of William and Catherine's vision. Rumor has it that Catherine, always a step ahead, had quietly commissioned public polls months earlier to measure support for Charlotte's rising role. The results spoke volumes, overwhelming approval for the direction they were taking. This wasn't about personal ambition. It was part of a carefully crafted strategy aimed at securing a lasting legacy. Catherine understood something that many missed: the monarchy couldn't survive by clinging to the past. It had to evolve to stay relevant. In Princess Charlotte, she saw more than just her daughter. She saw the embodiment of the monarchy's future compassion, Diana's leadership, spirit, Elizabeth's intellect, and her own quiet strength. Charlotte's power wouldn't be inherited. It would be forged through determination and proven ability. This wasn't Catherine's bid for glory or control. It was about ensuring stability and continuity for a monarchy that her children would shape, not just inherit. Once mocked for her middle-class roots, Catherine had risen far beyond the role of a ceremonial queen-in-waiting. She had become the true guardian of the monarchy's future, orchestrating profound change behind the palace walls. As the dust settled and the dust of royal drama faded, one truth became clear: the future of the monarchy was no longer speculation. Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Charlotte, and Prince George stepped forward proudly to reveal what lay ahead. Charlotte, calm and poised, captured hearts and headlines alike. Her grace, combined with a striking resemblance to both Princess Diana and Queen Elizabeth, was undeniable. Her new official duties marked a clear shift from a child to a key pillar in the crown's next chapter. While Charlotte stole the spotlight, George, ever watchful, remained silent. His demeanor, calm and composed, hinted at the quiet strength of a future king. Though young, his presence during the announcement showcased the emerging leadership that would one day guide the monarchy. This wasn't just about royal duties. It was about a family committed to shaping the monarchy with honesty and humility. Not ego. William and Catherine quietly shaped a new royal era, sending a clear message: the monarchy's future rests on public trust, emotional connection, and integrity, not just ancient bloodlines. While Camilla and Charles remain in their titles, their influence has shifted. The generational change is undeniable, with Charlotte and George beginning to embrace their legacy. The crown is being reborn, shaped by those destined to lead. What do you think of this shift? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal updates. Stay tuned, this story is just beginning.